I wouldn't be mad if any of these games won, you know?
Yeah.
Game of the year, if Elden Ring wins, I will literally be ripping my shirt off and screaming Jeff's name. But, you know, if we...
Scream Keely!
We'll record the reaction just so we get that on camera if I do. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. One of your hosts today, Ethan, joining me as always are my good friends Kyle.
Hello.
And Hunter. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just swell.
You know, I took that long in the pre-show, ladies and gentlemen, that the lower thirds timed out, so it's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll get them there eventually.
Oh, God.
You know, it's just because we had so much fun. You know, these two, they hate having fun, apparently. You know, I just like to warm us up a little bit. There we go, just by talking for like an hour and a half. Is that too much to ask? Just wanted to talk to my friends for an hour and a half? And not being contractually
you're in the
obliged?
That's a
latest time
theater
zone.
kid over here with his vocal warm-ups he needs to do before going on.
You know,
Make us all do the red leather, yellow leather thing.
you know, after watching such wonderful vocal performances in Wicked, I'm like, you know, I've got to step up my game when we get to the second act, like the second half musical number. I need to be fully prepared, you know. When Jeff Keighley comes out with the Muppets again, I'm gonna be like, I need to be ready. I need to be ready to harmonize with Kermit the Frog. We've kind of switched up our episodes this week. Originally, we weren't going to do this so early, but we decided to swap them because games are actually releasing next week. So we've decided to do our Game Awards episode a week early, which I think actually in hindsight kind of works out to be a tiny bit better because you've kind of got what I'm liking to call like little breaks from Jeff Keighley, you know, because, you know, we've got little intervals because usually it's like that 2 weeks back to back. And I think, like a lot of people, you kind of get burnt out. You're like, okay, that's enough Jeff for now. So, you know, we're spacing it out accordingly.
Me after the first hour of his award show.
Dude, I forget. I always forget that for the first 3 years that we did this, that I would just go into work the next day like a lunatic. Like I'd be like, oh,
Yeah,
that
I
was
don't
a
know why
great
you
show.
did that.
4:30 in the morning. Let me go get my 2 hours sleep. Like like that was nutty. But it's fine. I'll be ready this time. We're all in, and then I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, we're here. Do our Game Awards predictions for what's going to happen. Who will win? Do we have any out of left field predictions for crazy reveals? What will Jeff show us that we will forget about in 12 months' time? Let's find out. Let's talk about it a little bit. We'll go over what we did a couple of weeks ago, how many things we got right, what we got wrong when we tried to predict the nominees. Because let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we were quite wrong about a lot of these. So we'll talk through it. But hey, if you're new here, welcome to the HGO podcast. We're here every Monday around 12 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. UK time on podcast services everywhere and at youtube.com/heartgamers only. Bit of housekeeping. We're so close to 400 subscribers. So if you are on YouTube, please hit subscribe. That'd be sick. We would really appreciate it, honestly, and we really do appreciate the
400
support.
subscribers and Ethan releases the Metaphor review.
400
Yeah.
subscribers and Ethan may start Metaphor again before the end of the year. So you know, hit that subscribe button. Who knows? At 500 subs, maybe I'll finally do that other podcast that I've been saying that I'll do for the past 3 years. Who knows? Let's find out. How far can we get? We've got till March, guys. We've got until March. Can we get to 500 subscribers? If we do, I will actually make that podcast, not a joke. Balls in your court. Then I have to find people, though. That's cringe. Balls in your court. Good luck. And hey, if you're sitting there going, why should I subscribe to the YouTube channel? I'm on podcast services. I'm happy as Larry over here just listening to your stupid audio instead of looking at your stupid faces. Well, let me tell you, there's a Dragon Age review. It's up right now on YouTube. You can go and check that out. Hunter's done a good job on that. And if you need another reason, there'll be an Anton Blast review probably out later this week because I'm assuming that won't be a 50-hour endeavor. So hey, you get a load of reviews, and if you want to check them out on the website hotgamesonly.com, you can do that too. If you can read, you can go and read them. It's crazy. We've got a load of stuff. And then obviously,
And also,
Yeah.
as the end of the year comes up, we're also going to be putting out articles on the website for our individual top 6 games of the year. So
yeah.
got that to look forward to as well.
And yeah, if you're a regular, if you listen to us every week, which we do appreciate all of you out there, if you are sitting there going, oh, I cannot wait for the HGAs, the most high quality award show in the video game industry, Jeff Keighley shivers in fear every time that it comes around. you kind of you get a teaser of what's actually going to happen because you get to see all of our Game of the Year picks straight away about 3 to 4 weeks early. So if you want to get the lowdown, get the intel before the episode comes out, you can do that on the website. It's pretty cool. But yeah, get subscribing, get following us on podcast services, leave a review, do all of that jazz. We don't like to shout it out too often, but if you've got the chance, we'd really appreciate it. As we go into a new year, let's get straight into it. HGO reviews the nominees for the Game Awards. We're going to critique you right now, Jeff. We are going to put we're going to put these nominations on our review scale.
Got a few choice words.
So if you are
Hesitant.
watching on YouTube, then lucky you. We're going to switch over here to the other feed right now with the power of editing. There we go. You can now see the nominees in real time.
Listeners,
if you're an audio
that's another
listener,
reason to come over to the YouTube.
if you are an audio listener, don't worry. We are going to read them all aloud. And I'm actually signed in here. I'm signed in on the HGO account because I'm on the wrong profile. But you know what? My opinion is the HGO opinion. I'm going to put my votes in for each one. I'm not going to... So that's what we're going to do. I forgot to put it on the wrong profile. What can I say? It's fine. But I'll put my vote in live. And if you guys have voted, you can chime in. If not, who cares? Whatever. We'll do what we want. We start with best game direction. We're going to save Game of the Year to the end. So, no skipping. Timestamps are below for each category. No skipping, though.
Our analytics will tell us if you skipped.
I will know, and I will tell you off. I will be there. I'll be writing comments. I'll be atting you in the comment section. I'll be like, get back in line. You skipped over you skipped over accessibility, and I think that's pretty cringe. Get back in here.
Like, if you ever watch like a fighting game tier list video, there's always just like a big spike that says most replayed right towards the end when they show the full tier list. Like, we don't care about all the explanation. Just show me if my character's
any
good
YouTube
or
video
not.
and the most replayed bit is where the sponsorship ends. Like, just,
Yeah.
everyone's favorite little bit. But we're going to go over each of these. Best game direction. Jeff Keighley already gets a hesitant from me because he's upped it to 6 instead of 5. What's he doing? Like, absolutely shafted us here. I didn't know we got an extra pick, Jeff. What the hell?
Yeah.
How about a double hesitant because he just copy pasted the Game of the Year nominations?
He actually did. For audio listeners, the best game direction awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Nominees are Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, a game that we severely slept on, apparently. Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantazio. I do want to start this by saying to the one person who was up in my fucking face about Black Myth Wukong, yeah, maybe we did underestimate its power, but I'm also going to say, I'm not going to take back what I fucking said. This game got an 81. It's like, it's the biggest disparity in reviewer scores of Game of the Year nominees ever.
Yeah, like Plague Tale and Ghost of Tsushima both were on the lower 80 side too, but it was like 83, 84.
Yeah. Which, hey, like I say, I haven't played it yet. Maybe I will play it and I actually absolutely fucking love it. Like, for example, Lies of P was a game that I think, even though it did score better than Black Myth Wukong, I believe, I still think it deserves way more flowers because I think that game is fantastic. I'm like, you know what, fair play, Lies of P is brilliant. And maybe Black Myth Wukong will be the same. But the whole conversation around it has been so fucking toxic to me just because I hate Twitter. So I'm like, you know what? I'll wait a year. I'll wait a year and a half. Maybe I'll play it when it's cheap and people aren't bitching about it in my ear. But yeah, other than that, I think we got Astrobot, Balatro, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor basically on lock.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is from 2 weeks ago is I did bring up Elden Ring pretty early on, and I think a lot of us were like, it's gonna be a bit more sleeper. It's just basically nominated for fucking everything, so I should have thought harder on that front. But how are we feeling on this one? Game direction. Where do we think? Well, I always like to start off when we do these topics to just ask you, what would you like to win, and what do you think's going to win? So we'll start with you, Hunter. What would you like to win in this category for best game direction?
Astrobot.
Is that where your vote is
Astrobot
going?
to win, just because making a big time 3D platformer like this that isn't called Mario something or other that got this level of attention and review praise
Mm.
is unheard of.
Yeah, I'm in the same
So,
boat as you. It's
and it was
it's
really
just
good.
it's just
Like,
super
it
solid.
used
Like,
so many mechanics once or twice and failed to be repetitive with it. Like, endlessly creative game.
mm,
a hundred
it's
percent.
just got so much charm to it too.
I think, and I don't know what everybody listening's stance is on Elden Ring getting all of these nominations. I know that it's been a bit of a, don't know if I necessarily want to call it controversial discussion, but there's been a lot of people on each side arguing for it. And I really have landed on the side of the fence where I'm like, I really am kind of disappointed in a lot of outlets, not because Elden Ring's fantastic and Shadow of the Erd Tree is no exception. From the first quarter of it that I actually played, I'm like, no, this is fantastic. This is Elden Ring at its best. But at the same time, it is still Elden Ring. And
You still have to play 80% of
it's
the
not an
base
expansion.
game
There's a part of like
to
Yeah,
it's
you can't
start
just
it.
jump
it's
into
not a
it.
standalone, A lot of people are acting as if it's like what, but it is. It's basically, I'm like, it's not though. You cannot play this without, and everyone's like,
Yeah, people trying to use Final Fantasy Rebirth as like a counter argument here. I'm like, no, it's not the same thing. You can just play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth
yeah, it comes on a
old if
disc.
you
You can
want.
play.
It's not a good
It's a separate
idea, but
download.
you
Yeah.
can.
And Elden Ring is, from a game design, from a game direction perspective, it is literally Elden Ring again to a T. Like, there's nothing here where it's like, it's
It probably
fantastic,
does the
it's
classic
phenomenal.
FromSoft DLC thing where it's the base game but truncated and better, kind
Yeah,
of.
it is. And I think it's fantastic. But I'm sitting here and I'm like, for Game of the Year and every other category, I'm like, fair enough. You know what? Do what you fucking want. Whatever. But for game direction and Game of the Year, I kind of sit here and I go, I find it really kind of not insulting, because I think insulting is the wrong word, because again, Elden Ring is fantastic, but it really disappoints me that people couldn't let go of their fucking like fixation with Elden Ring just to give another game a chance from 2024
Yeah,
when there's been so many fucking good video games this year. Like
there's
it
so many
kind of
good games that got snubbed this year because of
bro, if it was
like in the
2020,
nominations
if it was
because of Elden Ring.
2021, I'd be like, fair play. Go for it, But there's been so many games that have been so freaking good. And when you've also got Black Myth Wukong in here, that's similar sort of crowd, I'm just sitting here and I'm like, bro, I just kind of wish we didn't. Like, I know people, there's like, oh, Blood and Wine got nominated for best RPGs and stuff like that in a load of game. I'm like, fair enough. But it kind of disappoints me when we've got so much good stuff, and then you've got a load of, critics and stuff going, it was the best game I played. I'm like, it's not the best game you've played, though. It's the best expansion. This is where it's like, I feel like Jeff just needs a category. You've got so many guys. You've got best debut indie game and best indie game. You're telling me you can't have a best expansion?
That
He
were
does
like
have
the
that
same
category. It's
thing
called
this
best
year.
ongoing game.
Mm.
Ugh.
It doesn't annoy me because I know it doesn't annoy me in the way where it's because I know that Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree is fantastic. It is brilliant. But it annoys me when I'm like, there are so many games that have been snubbed this year just because of Elden Ring's existence. And I'm like, we're genuinely going to have a conversation in about an hour's time going, so is Elden Ring actually going to win? Because this is the conversation we actually have to have now. And
Yeah.
it's like, even for best game direction, I'm like, fine, fuck it. Keep it there. Whatever. By the way, I'm putting my vote in for Astrobot. That's where my heart goes for this category. Like, that is my heart. There you go. Astrobot gets my heart in this category. But
Astro Sweep.
it's just like, it just really, really annoys me where I'm like, we're going to have this conversation. And I swear to God, look forward to in 2 weeks' time, because if it does win Game of the Year, I'm not going to be Happy Bunny. Not like I'm genuinely going to have a massive, like, there's going to probably be a massive rant in 2 weeks' time if that happens. Like,
I'm gonna have to throw my hippity hoppity, your soul is my property, bunny Grim Reaper shirt over the ocean for you.
just because it's like, it feels like there are certain game companies or certain creatives in this space that I feel like people just cannot, like, they're like, oh yeah, fuck it. You know, I feel like Kojima is one of them. I feel like if Kojima made an actual DLC that was something similar, the same shit would be pulled. Like, I feel like
Yeah,
there are just
probably.
certain there's just certain, and it's like people are like, oh, FromSoft makes the best DLCs of all time.
Or
I'm
like
like,
for this
no,
category
actually.
specifically, even like Last of Us 2 being nominated when their game direction was Naughty Dog game again.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, let's be real here. There are some others that are like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth did do something new for that in terms of open world design. Balatro, I think, well deserved. They turned a very simple
Yeah.
premise into the most addictive game on the planet. Fair play, you know. Metaphor again is trying to masterfully balance the hybrid of a Shin Megami Tensei with its persona kind of social systems and calendar. It's like they're doing some interesting stuff there. Shadow of the Erdtree does some really interesting stuff with how do we make an expansion to an open world game where someone can go in at level 50 or level 500? How do we make it and come up with a new system? There's some really interesting stuff at work there. But again, it's a fucking expansion, not even a standalone one. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed, one of the best RPGs that I've ever played, never mind the fact that it is a standalone expansion. You can play that fucking separately. Same with Torna. Torna came on a fucking cartridge, but we wouldn't be having these conversations back in these years. It just fucking baffles me.
Now, because Jeff wouldn't let Xenoblade near his show.
You got
with a
lucky that it got even
30-foot pole.
nominated. He's scared of JRPGs. He's
Yeah.
genuinely terrified of a JRPG
Oh
that
yeah.
isn't a FromSoft game winning game of the year. He's genuinely terrified of it, and it fucking shows. Anyway, I voted for Astrobot. You know what, fuck it. I'm putting my faith in Astrobot, dude. I'm putting Astrobot to win this category. Just because I cannot say with a straight face Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, no.
Hunter?
Oh, yeah. Throw my vote with Astrobot too.
Cool. Now that I've got my Elden Ring vent out of my system, I think we can just now happily move on. And then when it comes up in the next ones, we can just look at the positives. But fuck off, Jeff. Make it its own category next year. I hope he's learned from the fucking backlash. He usually does,
Yeah.
but I hope he's learned and gone, okay, maybe we need a new category. Maybe we can fuck off one of the content creator ones. Best
Genuinely.
narrative. Outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Metaphor Fantasio. Senua's Saga.
Shout
Hellblade
out
2.
to
And Silent Hill
Like a
2.
Dragon.
I'm happy it got
I
nominated for
didn't
something.
think they'd be here. Yeah. Like we went with Dragon Age just because we figured
Dragon
that
Age
would
got
be...
shafted, bro. I think that
Dude, it got nothing this year, which, you know,
it's
what
been
can
it's
you
been a more divisive game, so I'm like, fair play. I'm
Yeah.
also not gonna whine about it. I think this is a really interesting
Hey, that's the
category
only one we
because
missed, so.
again, let's look at this, guys. Look at what a year Japan has had. Because obviously, I know Bloober Team isn't, but Silent Hill 2, very much a Japanese
The
game.
story still came from Japan.
Yeah, exactly. And then look at what a fantastic year for Japan in terms of games, dude. Like, I think that's the big takeaway from me this year is it's really been Japan's year. Where even with Elden Ring, again, it's like Japan has just been firing on all cylinders this year. And it's kind of great to see that because I feel like there's always been one or two, but like they kind of get overshadowed a lot. So the fact that the West, in terms of game development, has just kind of had a bit of a decent year, but nothing is hugely hit like Japanese games have this year. It's kind of great to just see a sweep of Japanese releases.
This year is also unique for this category because there's not nary a PlayStation Studios game in sight.
I also think it's interesting
for this kind of thing.
Because while I sit here and I praise wonderful games that Japan creates, I will also 100% be here to say that they also sometimes come up with the most sometimes inconsistent narratives. So I'm sitting here and I'm looking at some of them and I'm like, I'm sure Like a Dragon is fantastic, but I also know that it's like Rebirth I love, but I also know that story is at times jank as hell. You know what I mean? Like it's like
It's also the middle of a story. Like you don't have the full
it's the
picture
summer arc,
yet.
dude. It's the filler arc a bit. It's like still fantastic. Obviously, unfortunately, I'm only on Yakuza 5, so I cannot. I've not played Infinite Wealth. I have played about 4 hours of Metaphor, and I'm still in that hesitant state where people say that the plot gets brilliant, but I'm still sitting there going, oh, these are really serious messages for Atlas to handle. I can't wait to see them fumble that bag because they always do. Um, I'll be a believer, I'm sure, at some point, but I'm sitting there going, I don't know. Hellblade. I don't remember Hellblade. Like, Hellblade came out, and again, speaking of polarizing games, that game didn't hit in the same way the first one did. And Silent Hill
Yeah,
2 is a
the people
remake.
were.
I don't know what to
Yeah,
vote for this year. Like, I genuinely don't know what to vote for. Um,
I think it's
I guess.
probably between Metaphor or Silent Hill as far as things
Hmm.
that are most likely, because uh, just because people really like Metaphor and its story, and Silent Hill 2 is one of the best stories that video games have come up with. So,
I'm gonna
and they
put
did a
my
good job at
vote. I'm gonna put my
retelling it.
vote for Metaphor Fantasio. I think just solely because not that's my vote for who's going to win. I'm gonna vote for. I can only literally vote for one of these in good faith because I've only played for one. So it's like I'll vote for Rebirth, even though I'm sure that if I played mere like 10 or 15 more hours of Metaphor, I probably would be voting for that. Um, but I don't know. I still think that the Game Awards has a kind of I don't know. I feel like a lot of reviewers will have it. Oh, it's a remake, so they'll kind of put their votes aside.
Yeah,
That's why I'm going for
yeah,
Metaphor anyway.
I think Metaphor is more likely, probably simply because it's had a surprising amount of juice since its release.
Kyle, how are you feeling?
I'm giving my vote to Metaphor.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
I've it took a while for the story for it to finally hit with me, but once it got me, I was in for the rest of the game.
Hell yeah.
And I feel like it's also just kind of a game that hit at the right time, you know?
I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. That it does eventually pick up because I was sitting there at first. I'm like, this seems extremely kind of on the nose. So I'm like, okay,
It's
let's let it cook a
my
bit.
thing with my thing with Metaphor is that it is a really slow start, and for
Hmm.
me, I wasn't really hooked into it until about the end of the third chapter.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
crazy.
a slow go, but once it once it finally gets going, it it really doesn't stop
And I'm sure it
until it's
does
over.
because Atlas games tend to do that. They tend to have a slow burn at the start, but then the hooks eventually get into you, right? Where you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
like even with the big old hook of Persona 5, this happens. If you're not into the game before that, you probably shouldn't have played that far, but
well, no, because you have that
once it
genuine.
gets over there.
I always talk about having that genuine concern with Persona 5 because the first, gosh, 5 hours, like 4 or 5 hours, really six, right? Until you actually get to the actual meat and potatoes of actually exploring a dungeon. And I remember finally getting on the sticks and being able to walk around where I'm like, oh, I've played this game for 6 hours and I don't even know if I like it yet. I hope I do because the story's really interesting, but that's just the way Atlas games are. And I think
Right. You
Metaphor
haven't gotten to the game part of the
and
game
I
yet.
think and I think Metaphor is kind of the opposite in that case in terms of Atlas, where they really give you the gameplay and the mechanics first, and then they very much give the story in a slow burn. Where I'm like, oh, this is interesting for Atlas. I'm not used to this. Um, but
I
hey,
feel like for Metaphor though, it works really well because
hmm,
like at the SMT combat, the press turn combat system is basically gonna make or break if you like the game or not.
yeah, it's interesting.
Just because it's such a weird, different RPG combat system from all the other stuff that's on the table.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I don't think there's anything else like it. Not that I can think of.
And I'm
At
sure
least not where it's as volatile.
And I'm sure we'll be talking a lot more about Metaphor as we go because it's been nominated for a lot of categories. For those of you who are curious, the two games that were the most nominated were Astrobot and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, followed by Metaphor. So there you go. Not that it means anything because there's so many games, for example, Insomniac games that get nominated for a load of categories and then end up winning nothing. Um,
Yeah.
Always the bridesmaid. Best art direction, anyway, is up next. Outstanding creative and/or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. The nominees are Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Metaphor ReFantazio, and Never. Dude, I forgot about Never.
If I had actually played
Never
Neva, I
was a good
probably would
shout.
have brought it up.
Mm.
I just hadn't, but yeah, it makes plenty of sense because it's the same kind of art style as their other game, Grease.
Yeah, 100%. As for who wins this category, this is really interesting because it's like in my head, I can see a case for all of them, really. And I know, God, Ethan being positive about even Black Myth Wukong, let's get to it, right? That game's stunning. Visually, that game is fucking
very
stunning.
good monkey
That
fur.
is like, I don't necessarily care about its story or, even its combat because I've got plenty of FromSoft games that I still need to play. But just looking at that game visually, every time it showed up at any kind of event, I just like, man, that game looks so freaking good visually. Like, my God, it's a very beautiful game. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, just like base Elden Ring, nailed its fucking design, its art direction to a T. Entering that new world and going through the cave for the first time and just seeing the Erdtree in the background, incredible stuff. Metaphor, really interesting art direction that they went for with the kind of almost inky, like ink on paper kind of filter the game has. Never's beautiful, and Astroblot is very clean. It's
very bright, very colorful.
Yeah. This is a really hard one. I think this could genuinely. Here's the thing: popularity vote in my head means that Naver is probably not going to win it, but I can see.
I think it's likely to be Elden Ring. As far as what I think will win.
Yeah, I mean, out of these games, Astro.
Because Astrobot's got the whole
I would vote
thing
for
where
Astro.
Enough people will be like a dumb kid thing.
Yeah,
for
I agree.
At least a few of them.
And here's the thing, right? Is I really like the art style and Metaphor, but you can also, when you're playing it, you can still tell that they're using the Persona 5 engine. Like it very much comes across as a game where I'm like, it's a very pretty game, but it still has that kind of same sensibilities, really, where I'm like, oh, I can see why it looked like, I don't know. There's a part of me that's maybe people think in their heads, they're like, oh, it kind of reminds them of an early PS4 game or something like that. Whereas Black Myth, Elden Ring, I think it'll be Elden Ring as well. I think it'll be Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Kyle, how are you feeling? What are you putting your money on?
I'm giving my vote to Metaphor on this one. I think I like all the environments. Everything looks super pretty, and then I also need to give a shout out to all the boss and enemy designs.
Dude, the enemy designs in this game are proper first time I played Persona 4 and things looked weird.
The humans, yeah, they're very weird.
We're back to this. I like it.
Honestly, it's a lot of the designs were giving Scarlet Nexus vibes of just weird amalgamation of enemy of stuff put into a creature.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I won't spoil it, but the boss of the second chapter, when that thing finally got revealed, my jaw was just dropped.
I think I just did that one.
You did?
Yeah.
Nice. What were your thoughts?
If I'm thinking of the right one, there's the opportunity to fight it earlier in the dungeon.
Yeah.
I did that and it seemed completely pointless. I'm like, well, now I just lost all those resources I spent thinking I could do it here, and then I reloaded my game. I'm like, well, sally forth and fight you for real later. But it was a good design.
No, that's fair. Like I say, it's got a lot going for it. I just don't know if this. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like everything in this category has a good shot.
Everything has a good shot.
Everything's valid here.
I wouldn't be mad if any of these games won, Like when we get to Game of the Year, if Elden Ring wins, I will literally be ripping my shirt off and screaming Jeff's name. But if we we'll record the reaction just so we get that on camera if I do.
Elden Ring's gonna get nominated and Ethan's just gonna Hulk Hogan his shirt off and scream Kaylee.
That I will. That I will.
For you, brother.
But if it won here, I'd be like, yeah, fair play. It's a gorgeous looking experience. Next up, ooh, hard one. Best score or music. For outstanding music inclusive of score, original song, and/or licensed soundtracks. Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor ReFantazio, Silent Hill 2, Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade really coasting on that. Sounds like Nier Automata vibe, isn't it?
It had to be nominated for something.
See, I think part of the problem with Stellar Blade, though, is individually the tracks are really good. Just sometimes the tracks are very dissonant with what's happening.
Yeah, I'm telling you where my vote is going for this one, and I have
I
a
think it
feeling
will
that
be
it'll
Final
win.
Fantasy. My
Final
heart
Fantasy
lies
VII
with Silent
Rebirth.
Hill.
My heart lies with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I think Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will win this category.
Yeah.
I have here's the thing: Astrobot soundtrack, fucking perfection. Metaphor Fantasio soundtrack, very good. Silent Hill 2, from the little bits I've heard, is fantastic. And Stellar Blade, probably the weakest of the five, if I'm honest with you. But the fact that there's like 180 songs in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth soundtrack is, like one of those things where you're like, what? Why is there so much freaking music? Like, there genuinely is so much music in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and it's all excellent. It's fantastic. The Gongaga music still lives rent free
Oh,
in my
I love
head.
the
It
Gungaga
still
music.
lives rent free in my head. I adore it.
The battle version of Hollow near the beginning of the game is one of
Why
my
not play for the
favorite.
first time? Yeah.
Oh, dude, just the new arrangement of that in general is one of my favorites.
Yeah,
But yeah,
there's so much there where I'm like, man, what a soundtrack! Like, genuinely, what a soundtrack. Where they were like jokingly, they were like, there's like 170 tracks. I'm like, bullshit. And then you get into it and they're like, oh my god, there's like 60 million battle themes in this game. What the hell? Yeah, I just think it's really impressive. Don't get me wrong. I think Astrobot soundtrack phenomenal. I think Metaphors from the list I've heard so far also very, very good. But just the sheer amount and quality of Rebirth, I'm like, Square Enix knows how to do music, man. They just do, like,
yeah.
it's just banger after banger. Kyle, how are you feeling?
In my heart of hearts, I think FF7 is going to take this, but I'm
Mhm.
giving my vote to Astrobot.
It is a solid soundtrack. I do love.
Well, I was going through the other day looking for music for a video,
Mhm.
and I was pulling listening to Astrobot soundtracks because,
Yeah.
like,
You are
I don't know why.
Astrobot.
I don't know why. What is it? Video game music recently just hasn't really been sticking with me like it used to.
Yeah.
So I was kind of just going through Astrobot's soundtrack, and I'm like, oh wait, all these songs are really, really, really good.
Yeah, yeah.
And especially like the PlayStation mascot themed levels where they kind of
Dude, the
take
God of War
inspiration
Ragnarok
from
theme,
the
like,
from
Oh
the
my
yeah.
game that they're
god,
pulled
yeah.
from.
Boy.
Dude,
Yeah.
God of War was really, really good.
Yeah.
It's
They're all
just a good beeps
fantastic.
and boops soundtrack.
Again, I wouldn't be mad. Well, I'd be mad if I
Yeah.
don't know if I wouldn't. I don't know. I wouldn't be mad if any of them won really. But you know, my yeah, for me it'd be Rebirth, and then Astrobot would be second, really. Um, but no, pretty fantastic. Good year for video game music. Big fan. Audio design, recognizing the best of in-game audio and sound design. And Cal tried to talk me into Call of Duty, and I was like, please. Yeah, here it is. The nominees are Astrobot, Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which again we also didn't put in the factor for this one, I don't think. Senua Saga, Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2. I don't know what will win this.
I think it's between Silent Hill or Senua, and I think the thing here is whether or not they think that the whispering that Senua hears is an old trick this time.
I'm gonna
You know?
my heart of I'll put my heart of hearts is obviously Astro Sweet Baby. The stuff that they do with like 3D audio and stuff, the haptics and stuff like that, with the sound coming from the controller, some sick stuff done. I think that Silent Hill 2 will win this one.
I think that's more likely. Yeah,
I think a bit of recency bias,
that too.
and
Recency
also
bias, people liked it a little more.
yeah, I think it was received better. And there's nothing in Call of Duty Black Ops 6 where I went, wow, that's some fantastic audio design. As someone who's been playing a lot of Black Ops 6, I'm like, no. If anything, it suffers from a lot of the issues that modern Call of Duty has, where everything is just, even for Call of Duty standards. And I know as people who haven't played Call of Duty, they will go, like, what does the... But, like, a lot of the personality has gone from individual studios. You used to be able to tell what studio was making what Call of Duty just by the way that it looked and sounded. And this game kind of falls into the trap of all the Call of Duty since 2019, where it just kind of forms this amalgam of, because everything has to fit into Warzone, everything has to be the same. And it's just like, oh, the fun's kind of gone a little bit, you know, like the quirky audio or the weird stuff is kind of gone. So yeah, there's nothing really special there that I'm like, oh yeah, I don't
No
even
more
know why it
silly
got.
RC car zips.
Yeah, like well, it's still there, but it's like,
I bet it doesn't sound as much, or it doesn't make the funny sounds in the same way.
yeah, or it's just like, it's like I feel like Zombies has lost a bit of its atmosphere. It doesn't necessarily sound like it used to, and it's like, oh, I kind of miss it having some charm to it. It just kind of feels like it's just a tiny bit more generic because it has to all fit into the same kind of art style and direction. It's kind of sad. So yeah, in my heart of hearts, Astro Bot, but yeah, I think Silent Hill 2 wins this one. Kyle, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
I was also thinking Silent Hill
Yeah.
2, just because horror game.
Horror
Yeah,
games
horror
tend
games
to win
usually
this
win this
category.
category.
Yeah.
If there's a horror game
This
of note
category.
for the given year, they'll usually win.
Of course it does. Anyway,
And I don't. And yeah, but yeah.
next category. Oh, this is a fun one, isn't it? Best performance
performance.
awarded to an individual for voiceover acting, motion, and/or performance capture. Brianna White, Aerith from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hannah Tell for Max Caulfield from Life is Strange Double Exposure, Humberly Gonzalez for, I don't know what her name is, but the main character in Star Wars Outlaws, Luke Roberts for playing the main characters. What's the main character's name in Silent Hill 2 again? I can't remember.
James
That's it.
Sunderland.
Yeah, James Sunderland. I had S in my head, but I'm like, that's his last name. Yeah. And then obviously Lena Jurgens from Senua Saga Hellblade 2 for playing Senua.
Why did we think Aegis from Persona was going to get nominated for
Because we couldn't think of anything else.
No, we also put a character from Metaphor because we couldn't think of many performances.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I love Brianna White. I really like Brianna White's performance. I don't think it's the best performance in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'll say it right now. The fact that there's been so much kind of
the Barrett erasure.
The Barrett
is
erasure
insane.
is really annoying me because I'm like, not only it's not like
the Yuffie erasure.
Dude, honestly, Barrett has such a huge like arc in the middle of this game, and it is the best voice acting in the entire duology, like in the two games so far. And I'm like, really? Nothing? Like, don't get me wrong. I love Brianna White, but Brianna White's Aerith performance in this game is very much
boring.
The same as what it was in the original, where I'm like, it was fantastic, but also I feel like there were some shining stars in the second one where I'm like, it was kind of their time to shine. It really was more their time to. Same with Cloud.
I knew it was gonna be her because it's the Aeris-centric game. As far as the big
apart
story
from the last like
moments.
3 chapters, it doesn't necessarily feel like that though. Is the problem?
Yeah, I know, but I also know that that's like where people's heads were gonna be.
So it's like, to me, it's like, don't get me wrong.
Man, if Die Hardman couldn't get a nomination for that scene in Death Stranding, then of course it was just gonna go to the character that they thought.
But yeah, the Barrett erasure is genuinely kind of saddening. But like it's an interesting one because now looking at it, I'm like, because we were like, Life is Strange isn't going to get a nom, but now looking back at it, I'm like, you know what? Mocap over
was
anything.
Still a really good performance,
Dude, she's the best part of Life is Strange Double Exposure. I don't care what people say, like whether you like the narrative of Double Exposure or not. I don't think you cannot say that Hannah Tell did not do a really good performance in it. She uplifts a lot of the bad of that game at times. So I'm like, fair play. I can't speak for Star Wars Outlaws. I don't want to say that she didn't. I'm sure she did a great job, but I also know that Ubisoft dialogue. I rest my case.
Yeah, her material probably wasn't great.
I don't know.
Luke Roberts did a really good job as
I
James.
honestly, and You know, I hate to say this because obviously it's like, you know, you've got 4 female performers here and 1 guy, and I'm like, there's a part of me that just does think the guy's gonna win, and it's like, it kind of
Yeah,
sucks,
man.
but I just think that, yeah,
He did do a really
he
good
did such a
job,
really he did a
whereas,
really good
like,
job, and
this version of James is much more, sympathetic than the PS2 version. He feels more like an actual human, whereas in the other game, he felt more like a human-like homunculus. But, like, I think that's the standout performance from the game, obviously, and I wouldn't be shocked if he won.
I'm gonna put my vote to Luke Roberts. I think it's either Luke Roberts
Yeah,
or Bjarna White that wins it, personally, but I'm putting it for Luke Roberts.
yeah,
Um,
and, like, Melina already won,
she already won, and
so
it's also a lot
the
more packed of a year. Like, it's like one of those things where it's like, you know, Hellblade 2 wasn't necessarily as beloved as Hellblade 1, where it's like it doesn't have that kind of bite to it as a pick
yeah.
this time round. Um, and again, I think Hannah and Humbly fit into this kind of thing where it's like, like, I don't know for Humbly, but I'm like, fantastic performances, I'm sure, but you've got these other 2 much bigger games in that space where it's just like, you know, it's the Naughty Dog effect or the Kojima effect where it's like, it doesn't matter how great your performance is, even a lesser performance in a fantastic game, in a more popular game, just has an edge
Yeah.
just by default because it's got that kind of
Yeah, it's like, why
appeal.
does PlayStation always get 2 nominations?
Yeah, basically. So yeah, put me down for Luke
Or what was
Roberts.
Norman Reedus doing in 2019?
Dude, I can't wait for Elle Fanning to be in 2025. Because she will. We could put that prediction down for next year, Cal.
Yeah, yeah.
She's on the beach, so she must be nominated. Um, so Hunter, who are you going for?
Oh, I think it's probably gonna be Luke Roberts, too.
Kyle, how are you feeling?
On the grounds of having no
Horse in
context
this
for the
race?
other
Yeah,
4, I give my vote to Brianna White.
that's fine. My
Even
person,
though, like
yeah.
you said, I think she's the weakest performance in FF7.
Which is
But
still like I know
yeah,
you're more maybe potentially more lukewarm, but I still think it's a great performance. I just think it's sad that who were the 2 people that were nominated for performance awards with Remake Part 1, and it was Brianna and God, what's Cloud's voice actor's name? First name?
Cody?
Cody. Thank you. I was like, it begins with a C, but I'm like, because I'm like, it's obviously Cloud. I'm like, fries my brain. But yeah, Cody and Brianna were the 2 people that were nominated the first time around for Remake Part 1. And then to come to Rebirth and to have really fantastic performances like in Barrett, like in Yuffie, and then to come back around and it be the same 2 people again, I'm like, Barrett's performance was so fucking good. I nearly cried at that scene, dude. Like, I was like, I'm so fucking good. So
I
fucking
didn't
good.
care about that part at all in the PS1 version, and I thought it was really well done this time.
Yeah, it was so fantastic. Anyway, I'm a Max Caulfield simp and I'm a Hammer Tal fan, so I'm just gonna vote for her anyway. I know she's not gonna win, but she gets my vote anyway because fuck you. Dude. Like, that's where that goes. Um, Hammer Tal's fantastic, even if the game is not. Um, innovation and accessibility recognizes software and/or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience.
and speaking of things I have races I have no horse in.
Give it up for Black Ops 6, Diablo 4, Dragon Age, The Veil Guard, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and Star Wars Outlaws. I have no fucking clue what will win. This is literally a pot. This is a shot in the dark. Hunter, have you got something you want to say?
Yeah, I never know because, like, even I've even played Dragon Age and Prince of Persia, and usually I don't bother with
Bro,
the options menus.
I'm playing.
Dragon Age had a really long list of options,
Bro,
though,
I'm playing
so.
Black Ops 6 and it has a load of options, but I can't tell what wasn't already there already. Like, that's the thing. It's like I'm sitting there, man.
Well, I know most of
It's
Dragon Ages
innovation. They kept it
wasn't
between games.
because
And
the
Diablo
last
4
game was
came out
10
last
years ago.
year, didn't it? Like Diablo 4 came
Yeah.
out last year.
Yeah, what gives?
Also, yeah, Diablo 4. Why are you
Is it
here?
because it got an expansion this year? Is that why? Like, the option menu stays the same, you fuckers. Like, what did they add
Yeah.
accessibility DLC?
Dude, hear me out. Street Fighter 6 got Terry this year. Put that game on there
Well,
again.
I've only played one of these games, so I guess my vote goes to Black Ops 6. But like, you know, yeah, fuck it. I'll say that Black Ops 6 wins it. Like that just I don't know. This seems like, you know, when Modern Warfare 2019, was it 2019 or 2021, was nominated for best sound design or whatever. And I was like,
Yeah,
I've heard
because they did a
rumors. Yeah, because they
presentation.
kept saying on Rumble. For all I know, there was probably like a bit of presentation where for some reason Black Ops 6 was going in on that, you know? Because I can't feel like
Anyway.
it won't be Star Wars Outlaws. Prince of Persia, maybe Prince of Persia, I don't know. I'll put me down for Black Ops 6, I don't know.
Okay, but making yourself more accessible for it's a funny concept for Prince of Persia since like 3,000 people played that game, you know?
Yeah, is Black Ops 6
Mm.
is Black Ops 6 accessible because it has the worst, like, most fucking strict skill-based matchmaking I've ever seen in a fucking video game to make it a miserable experience for everybody, even the playing field. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, I'll vote for Dragon Age just because it's the only category it's in.
Feels bad. Cal, where
Yeah.
are you putting your random shot?
I'm putting it to Diablo 4 because I think that'd be funny.
Okay then.
Oh, you monster.
I don't care, dude. I'm
Diablo
here for
smells.
funny.
Next up, we have Games for Impact, a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. Close to the Distance, Indica, Never, Life is Strange Double Exposure, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and Tales of Kenzera Zao. I've not played all but one of these games, so I can only vote for one of them. The one thing I can say about Life is Strange Double Exposure, which, you know, again, one of the, 50-50 on that game, one of the positives that I mentioned extensively on our spoiler cast and our first impressions with you, Hunter, is that I feel like in terms of representation, that game actually does a really good job of just letting characters exist in a world.
Like yeah.
Like, I think it does a really great job, whereas games in the past with Life is Strange have kind of had this issue where they almost mean good, but they're trying like the way it's just not going about it right. Whereas this game, they just kind of slot in and they do a really good job of that. Where it feels so natural. Where I'm like, oh, this is characters in a world. I don't feel like, you know, it just feels like they did a good job of that. So I'm like, fair play. Haven't played any of the others though, so that's just where my vote. That's where my personal vote is going for. I don't know where I'd place my bets on. I have no clue what I'd place my bets on here, to be honest.
I think I'd place my bet on Kenzera.
I was
just
thinking
because
Kenzera
of
also.
how personal a story that is.
You know what? I haven't played Never though. That's the thing. It's like, oh, what? Because Never's been nominated for multiple categories. So does that mean it has something that's going for it there? I don't know.
The other category it got nominated for was art.
Yeah, it's a pretty game. Maybe it's a pretty and sad
yeah.
game. There you go.
Well, yeah, it almost likely is a pretty and sad game. I think Greece probably got Games for Impact the year it came out.
You know, if we all vote the same every time, everything's going to get boring. So put me down for Never, dude. Put me down for Never.
Cool.
Now he's getting it. Vote last, you pick something different.
Well, we've got to make it interesting.
Rules.
If we all end up getting
unless it's obvious.
If we get you know.
Unless it's obvious, yeah.
I mean, you can go about it 6 million different ways, right? Because it's a public vote here, so you can go about it where it's like Tales of Kenzera, really personal story. Never was nominated in more categories than Tales of Kenzera, so maybe critics are voting for that more just because of the way that works. And then you've also got Life is Strange. Life is Strange and Hellblade are both probably the bigger games in this category in terms of popularity. So is that going to swing the vote from another? You can look at this in 6 million different ways. Because a lot of the time you got to remember that a lot of the public are just going to go, that's the one, like me, that's the one I've played, that's my favourite, put that vote in, and then that's all that they do, right? Like,
yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen? Anyway, next category. Your website, you're going to, best ongoing game, my favourite. I love Fortnite. Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Helldivers. This is like one of the only categories Helldivers is actually in, and it's best ongoing.
I think it's got a best multiplayer nomination too.
Yeah, maybe.
It has best community support.
Oh, good.
Anyway, give my vote to Super Earth. I think they'll get it.
You see, I think this is so interesting, right? Because it's like Diablo 4 has had a good expansion, Final Fantasy 14 good expansion, Fortnite just continues to exist. I think people forget that earlier this year, Destiny 2 had that expansion that released was like critically beloved. Like people really loved that final expansion, well, quote unquote final expansion for Destiny 2. And Helldivers has been really popular. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if any of these won, realistically. My personal vote goes for Helldivers because, that I really enjoyed what I did play of that game. But they fumbled the bag so hard on that with the PC stuff. I don't know how much you guys are aware of that, but they forced PSN onto everything. And there's a load of countries that don't support
I
PSN,
remember.
and a load of people started boycotting Helldivers 2 and are still boycotting it to this day because of what happened. And I'm like, will that trickle down? Are people because people are still obviously pissed about that? I don't know.
I don't know
Well, I
if
think that's kind of the
Final
discrepancy between
Fantasy.
best ongoing game and best community
Yeah,
support.
Yeah,
I think if Final Fantasy had an expansion like received the way that one of the last couple were, instead of just it's another Final Fantasy expansion that was good. I'd be more inclined to say that would win.
and I don't think
but
Fortnite fans watch the Game Awards, so I think we'd be fine with that, saying that that's probably not going to work.
they're too young to.
Yeah, they won't be staying
use
up late.
Yeah.
Destiny 2 had a fantastic expansion earlier this year, but I think that people will just forget about it. So yeah, I think Helldivers. Are we all saying Helldivers for that one?
Yep.
I'm saying 14.
Okay, yeah. Go for it. Best community support. Right, I'm telling you right now, Helldivers 2 should not win this category with the way that they treated the whole PSN thing.
Let me
FF14
tell you about
should
the
not win this
12
either.
subclass patch that Baldur's Gate introduced this last week. That might just make people inclined to
recognizing the
vote
game for
for it.
outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates. Yeah, Helldivers 2 should not win this. Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky just always gets this vote for this thing every year. I think my favorite meme, and it'll always be my favorite meme, is when they tweet out that there's yet another free expansion, and then everybody just replies to it with the same the same like JPEG, which is just, please Sean, we have money. Like, Sean's like, I've got another free expansion. They're just like, please Sean, we have money. Let us
It's like
buy
how
it.
Yacht Club kept making expansions to Shovel Knight, and people are like, "When are you gonna make a 2?"
Like, I've never got into No Man's Sky. And to be honest, I'm probably gonna like that Light No Fire, the next one that they're doing.
I'm interested in that.
I probably will hop into that with how well they've bounced No Man's Sky back. I still think to this day No Man's Sky is the greatest comeback in video game history, even above Cyberpunk. Like, I like the way that they have managed to turn No Man's Sky into a beloved game is, because here's the thing, Cyberpunk came out a right mess, but underneath it was still very much that game. They just had to fix all. Whereas No Man's Sky came out with nothing, and then it's just added and added and added to the point where it's a completely different game like 6 times over at this point. Fantastic. I think you're right. I think Baldur's Gate 3 might win this. I genuinely do.
Yeah, I think that patch earlier the last week or whatever has been like, hey, remember us? And it was really good.
I will always
throughout the
vote for No Man's Sky
year
in this category. I always do every year. But
and like throughout the year, the consoles got mod support and all other sorts of stuff. Like the game's been transformed in the time since I've played it by quite a bit.
Yeah,
it's probably an entirely different game at this point.
100%. Put me down for Baldur's Gate 3 as well. I think that's
hell yeah.
That's the vote. Is everyone in agreement with that one? Is that just a?
I think so.
Hell yeah. Next up, Best Independent Game. For outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. Animal Well, Balatro, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Never, and UFO 50. Get fucked, Hunter. Get fucked.
Yeah, I was wrong about that one.
Get fucked.
By crab game.
Also,
dude, Lucky Squire. That's interesting.
I am very shocked that Lorelei and the Laser Eyes is here. Like, I knew that was a critical hit. I just didn't realize that, like, people were gonna bring it up. It seemed like one of those
Hmm.
reviews well, but was 25 people played it kind of things.
Here's the thing, right? Is I've not played any of these games, so I don't know if I
Oh,
want to
me
vote
either.
for any of them because I feel guilty sometimes where I'm like, I'm just voting for you based off of fucking popularity or vibes, right? You're not. Fuck it, I will. I'll spice the vote up. I don't care. I think Balatro will win this one.
Oh yeah,
Obviously.
clearly.
I'm gonna vote for Animal Well though, just to stir the pot. But yeah, Balatro will win this one.
Yeah.
It's nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah, that's the usual trend is the independent game that's
Now
nominated
this
for
next
Game of
one
the
is
Year
best
wins the other
debut
ones.
indie game. Do we also think Balatro just wins this category as well by default?
Oh,
Yes.
there's Plucky Squire.
That's Plucky Squire.
I
For some
think
reason,
Balatro wins both of them.
Damn, Balatro sweep.
yeah, I also do. Although again, I'm gonna vote for, even though I've played the Plucky Squire and I like the Plucky. Oh no, fuck it, I'll vote for Plucky Squire. I played it. The only other thing I can see, I think there's two possibilities here. I think Balatro wins both of them, and I think that's the most likely option. I think the other option is that Balatro wins best indie game, and then Animal Well wins the best debut indie game, just because other people really people really loved Animal Well as well.
People really, yeah. For the first couple of years we did this, we tried to game the system of will people spread out the votes for these
But I've learned
categories.
a lot. If
People
just something's
never do
popular, yeah,
that.
if something's popular, just people vote for it. Unga bunga
Yeah.
monkey brain, Balatro, 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 Balatro. Yeah, they'll just vote for everything.
Yeah.
So I'm not playing stupid this time. Balatro will win both probably. Lock me down for that one. And you just go.
That's 6 votes for Balatro.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
Good job, everybody. Well, no, I voted for Plucky Squire. I'm saying it will win though. That's mobile game. I love mobile games. I'm just gonna vote for Balatro wins this one again.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Balatro's a mobile game?
Yeah, it's on your phone. You can get addicted wherever you
Oh
want.
shit.
Yeah,
On your phone?
yeah, it's on everything.
On
It's
the
literally on
phone,
every
you
console, PC, and mobile. You cannot escape from Balatro if you want to. If
I
you
had no idea.
if you actually have an addiction, then I'm so sorry. I think it wins this one
Good
again.
thing it's not actual poker.
Yeah, I think this one wins again. I'm sorry, but I don't think Hoyo has the power to fucking do it again, unless they fucking rig the vote like they did last time.
Yeah. The
Have they? Has anyone double checked? Has Hoyo rigged the vote like they did last time? Last time they like promised Primo Gems or whatever to vote for Genshin Impact for best mobile game. Like they've done this before.
Yo, bribery?
They've bribed the player base before,
But,
yeah.
In my democratic election?
Who would have guessed?
What?
That Pokemon game
China?
popped off like
What?
that first week that it was out, but it already fizzled away, I think. So
Yeah. I
yeah,
don't know.
still
In
think it'll be
my
Balatro.
head, it'll either be Balatro or Zenless Zone Zero, and that's 100% because Hoyo versus put a promotion on for voting for them at the Game Awards. That's the only reason that I'm thinking. But I'll vote for Balatro again.
There are 3 of those games now.
Yeah, maybe there'll be a fourth.
Unfortunately.
Did you know Wuthering Waves is also just basically Genshin Impact but made by somebody else? So that's another one for you right there.
That's like an Epic Game Store exclusive in it.
So is Hoyo. All of the Hoyo games are only on Epic. You can't play Genshin on Steam.
Or if you have taste.
Next game. Best VR and AR game. For the best game experience playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform, we have got Arizona Sunshine Remake, Asgard's Wrath 2, Batman Arkham Shadow, Metal Hellslinger VR, Metro Awakening. I think recency bias just goes with this one, and Batman Arkham Shadow wins it.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Asgard's Wrath 2 was
also just
fantastic.
super well received too.
Yeah, it's super well received. Well, here's the thing. I think it'd either be that or Asgard's Wrath, because Asgard's Wrath was also critically adored. Sanzori Games, by the way. But yeah, I think recency bias. I think Arkham Shadow wins it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick. We can have to spend more time on that. No one else does.
Yeah.
No one plays VR anyway. They're all playing Beat Saber still.
None of us play VR.
No. Best action game. For the best
Let's
game.
move on to games we definitely
For the
played.
best game in action genre, focusing primarily on combat, best action game, Black Myth Wukong, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, and Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Can I just say, this is why I love the Game Awards. I love the fact that Black Myth Wukong comes under action game, and then we get to later Elden Ring comes as a fucking RPG. I love that we have consistency here. I love it. Is this the only reason because Black Myth Wukong is slightly more linear and Elden Ring has an open world? Is that literally the distinction that we're making there? Because they're the same fucking gameplay.
Maybe you don't do anything with your stats in Wukong.
I feel like you
I don't know.
do. I feel like it copied it.
I don't know. I haven't played it yet. I'm just providing possibilities.
Anyway, I think Wukong wins it. I don't want that's
Yeah.
my vote is Wukong wins this one.
Yeah, Wukong.
I
gonna
personally
win
will
this
be
one.
voting for Helldivers 2 because I've played that one and I'd rather give my vote to that than Black Ops 6.
That's the spirit.
I did like Black Ops 6. The campaign's pretty fun. Zombies is also better than it has been for a long time. It's a shame the personality is still in the fucking gutter somewhere. But yeah, Kyle, what are you thinking? What are you putting your vote on for this one?
I'm putting my vote on Stellar Blade. Just
interesting. You're going
to
for
be different.
which
And I feel
one of
like
the
that's
two
the good
games?
second option.
Will the horny player base win or will the Souls player base win? Let's
Or
find
the
out.
monkey face.
Yeah. Hunter, what are you going for?
Oh, I
Also
think it's
Wukong?
gonna be Wukong.
Down. Next game. Best action adventure game. For the best action adventure game, combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. Your nominations are Astrobot, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaws, and The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wekos. I'm voting for Astrobot here, personally.
It is perplexing to me that Star Wars got a nomination here.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't know. Have we done this before? How does horror fare in a best action adventure category usually?
It gets nominated, but usually doesn't win. I think
Astrobot wins it then.
Will win.
Yeah.
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 Because like Resident Evil, I think, was in this category last year, and Zelda beat it.
Yeah, I think in my head it was like it would either be Silent Hill 2 or Astrobot, but I'm leaning towards Astrobot. So yeah, Astrobot. Kyle, are you the same?
Astrobot, yeah.
Astro Sweet.
This is
On the
easy.
grounds of not having played anything else in the category.
Why do all the other categories take 6 million years? We're just flying through them now. Best RPG, here we go. For the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. Don't know why that description is still in there. All of these games are all single player. Dragon's Dogma.
Has an MMO ever actually gotten in the past? Like,
no, because there's already plenty of normal RPGs. That's the thing, is there's too many normal RPGs in a regular year anyway. I think that's in there as an asterisk. Instead, we have, if in case of emergency, break glass, have an MMO.
Yeah.
Dragon's Dogma 2, Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth, and Metaphor: ReFantazio. Jeez.
Cool to see Like a Dragon here too.
Yeah.
Forgot that got nominated here.
It got more nominations than I was expecting it to. I thought it was gonna sweep under the radar, and I'm glad it doesn't. It hasn't, because Rio.
Especially like that was a January, late January game.
It was first month game. Yeah, like last week of January.
That's awesome.
Let's be real here. Like a Dragon, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Dragon's Dogma 2, all early games, all February and January games. Fantastic to see that. That literally the only game here that wasn't in the first half of the year was Metaphor. Everything else was in the first half of the year, even Elden Ring.
When did Erdtree come out?
Was it June?
I think it was late June.
Yeah,
like June 30th.
Something like that. June 26th.
Yeah.
Something like that. God, I have no clue what wins here. I genuinely... Elden Ring has gone and fucked everything up. Like, if we take Elden Ring out of here, it would be like, okay, is it Final Fantasy or is it Metaphor?
Yeah.
Let's have a think. With Elden
I'm
Ring
putting my
here,
vote to Metaphor.
I genuinely have no fucking clue what my gut is saying. Do I go with at least get something out of my anger and go, I think Elden Ring will win? so that at least if when it does, I go, at least I get a point. And then when it doesn't win, go, thank fuck for that. Hunter, where are you going with this one? What are you thinking?
I think Final Fantasy.
Really? I mean, I'm going to vote for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Just the vibe check at the moment. Got no real.
I
reason
literally
to think
right. Here's the thing: is I'm doing the real. I'm in my heart of hearts. I'm going. Do I trust the fucking games industry and the players that are voting in this poll? And the answer is no. Put me down for Elden Ring wins, and I cry.
That's probably likely, yeah.
If it isn't, I think it might be Metaphor. In my heart, if I was going for a non-Elden Ring pick, I'd probably go with Metaphor. But yeah, we'll go with Elden Ring. Elden Ring. Oh, best fighting game. Absolutely abysmal showing here.
Okay.
For the best game
All
design,
right.
primarily around head-to-head
Give me
combat.
the stick, Ethan.
Go on, Kyle. It's all yours.
All right. So best fighting game. We got Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Tekken 8, Multiverses,
back,
and Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. First, okay, so let's get the good out the way. Grand Blue, very cool shout. That came out towards the end of last year. It was cool to see that. I was not expecting it to show up. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero came out recently. Everyone and got well received. Tekken 8, highest reviewed fighting game of the year. Multiverses, get that shit out of here. You already won. Why are you here?
Because it's back. It was early access last time. Now it's full release. That's the difference.
Yeah, and it's probably gonna croak in less than a year.
It was worse.
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out worse than it did the first time.
Fighting Classics is just a tiny bit of a piss take. It is just a fucking re-release of all old games.
From
I'd take 20
that over Multiverses, to be fair.
Yeah, same. But like Marvel vs. Capcom Collection, that's just, those games are 20 years old.
It just makes me sad.
Like, if that wins, you're saying that these 20-year-old games are better than games we have now.
It also just makes me sad because it's like
people bought it for Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and
there have been
more than half the roster doesn't work in that game.
Yeah.
And this was actually a year where 5 fighting games released.
Yeah.
That could have filled out the category.
Like, it kind of makes me
Nightmare
mad.
Blunt rotation we got in 2021 with Sifu and DNF Duel.
It does just kind of make me sad that it's like, yeah, arcade classics and Multiverses got a nom. But, you know, Rivals 2 didn't. And I'm like, that's at least a new game. And it's by an indie team. And it's been really well received. And yet, no. Fucking Warner Brothers has to get their fucking foot in the door again.
No,
Uni 2 got snubbed so badly, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, my vote is going to Tekken 8. I think Tekken 8 wins.
Yeah,
I also think that. I think there's a slim chance Sparking Zero takes it.
It's one of those two, but I think it'll be Tekken.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a fucking best fighting game. Always a good comedy fucking category, you know? Good
and the worst part is, it's just going to be in the fucking pre-show.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Don't worry. Speaking of pre-show, Kyle, don't worry about it. Best family game. For the best game, appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. Astrobot, Princess Peach Showtime, Super Mario Party, Jamboree, The Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Echoes, and The Plucky Square. I can't believe Zelda got put in family game, bro. Like, what the fuck?
That's a bit odd.
What the fuck?
It's the Nintendo category.
Anyway, Astro. I don't care. Astro sweep. Astro wins this category.
Yeah, Astro's gonna win.
Astro wins this category, and Nintendo fucking cries because for the first time in 20 years they're not winning the category by default. What a shame.
And they lose to Sony.
And they finally the roles have reversed. Nintendo's gonna look at this and go, "Oh damn it! Now we're gonna have to make a gritty fucking narrative game to compete."
So what if we gave Mario
I would be interested to see what they came up with.
Metroid Prime 4. Anyway, yeah, I don't think I don't think there's a conversation to be had here. I feel like there is a 2% chance that Astrobot doesn't win this category. Like, I'm 90% sure that it wins.
Yeah, it's nominated for Game of the Year. It means it's gonna win against the games that aren't.
Yeah.
Also, hi again, Plucky Squire. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Anyway, best sim and strategy game. Best game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. Age of Mythology Retold, Frostpunk 2, Kinetsugami, Path of the Goddess, Mana Lords, and Unicorn Overlord. Cal, you got a nom for Unicorn. Congratulations.
It's what keeps me going, dude.
Just like the Xenoblade fans in 2022, that is what you'll be getting. But you're
The
grateful to be
sympathy
here.
vote.
Yeah,
I'm casting my vote to that. I don't know if it'll win or not,
I have
but I'm
no
just happy
clue
to
what'll
see you
win.
here.
No,
It's
you
a
know what?
difficult
I'll throw my prediction on Unicorn too, just because I don't think it'll be Path of the Goddess, and
one.
you know what?
I didn't
I
even know
don't.
that was a strategy game.
The same.
I didn't know. I don't know anything about that game. I thought it was like an action game, but whatever.
Nah, not quite. I
What's
played the
Mana
demo for a
Lords? I don't even
little
know what
bit.
Mana Lords is. Like Mana, I mean, I'll put my I've not played any of these, so just I'll cast my personal vote to Unicorn Overlord just because in sympathy. But I don't even know what Mana Lords is, so I want to know what that is first,
It's like a house building
and
game.
maybe if it has an open critic.
I like that I Google search it, and the first thing that comes up is a Reddit post that says, "Anyone else find this game to be a big letdown?"
Yeah, it's got 72. Nah, fuck it. I'll put it on Unicorn as well. It'll probably be Age of Mythology
Yeah.
Retold, knowing my fucking luck, but who cares?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Unicorn Sweep, who cares?
Corn Lord Sweep.
We're
Audience,
getting
go
near the
play
end, ladies
Unicorn
and gentlemen.
Overlord. It's
It's
great.
now time for everybody's favorite, best sports and racing for the best traditional and non-based sports and racing game. Remember when we used to have fun in this category? Do you remember when Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled fucking wiped the floor with
where the
everything?
game
that
that was
great.
fun would win. Yeah, it was awesome.
Now look at this: F1 24, EA Sports FC 25, NBA 2K 25, Top Spin 2K 25, and WWE 2K 24. All awful
I'm surprised
choices.
that didn't show up in fighting game at this point.
Oh,
True.
Jesus, dude.
Dude, fuck it. I'm casting
Nightmare
I'm
Blunt
putting
rotation.
I'm putting my vote to WWE. I think WWE will win.
It's got a very good character creator, if nothing else.
Is 2K24 the one that was on Plus?
Yeah.
Then I've played it, so yeah, technically it will get my vote.
Yeah.
It's the only one that I've played. It's fun. It's fun enough.
Yeah,
That's what I'd put it
they're
under.
fun times. I'd play them when I hang out with my friend.
They're kind of just brain dead, but it's
Absolutely, my dude. Strategy for everything. Kick them in the face until they lose.
Yeah, just mash and hope for the best. Yeah. Cal, are you going for anything?
I'm going with NBA because
Okay.
it's got Jason Tatum on the cover.
Oh, saucy Tatum. Sorry, but I'm gonna have to vote for FIFA.
Oh, you're voting for FIFA. Oh dear.
FIFA.
Yeah, that's the most likely to win, I think.
Dude, you think
Which one
FIFA
is-
fans
Oh,
go
is
to the
that
Game
EA
Awards, dude? Yeah,
Sports?
EA Sports
Yeah,
FC.
that's the.
You think that FIFA fans actually watch this show? They don't know what this is.
You know, by that logic, the wrestling fans might be the ones who show up the most.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway,
Yeah.
best multiplayer. For outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences irrespective of game genre or platform. Nominations are Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Tekken 8, and Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2.
Why is Mario Party nominated for this?
Because they have online finally. I don't know.
The last Mario Party had online.
And it was better.
I mean, my vote goes for Helldivers. I think Helldivers wins. It'll either be that or Warhammer.
Yeah.
But I'm going with Helldivers because I've played it.
Do you want space that's funny or space that's boring?
Yeah.
Those are your flavors of victory this time.
But no, Mario Party and Tekken don't have a shot in hell.
No.
I still it still baffles me that fighting games get put into multiplayer. Like, I just don't think of them as multiplayer. I get in the sense they are, but like I just don't.
I
To
don't
me,
know.
multiplayer is like cooperative,
Uh,
but
no, I see what you mean. But also,
I
imagine
think
if they
I bet
removed the
multiplayer.
online
Yeah,
play from
multiplayer
a
just means you can play with
fighting
other
game.
people
yeah.
online. But hey, next category. Oh, you know, boys, I love a good adaptation. Me, best adaptation recognizes outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. Won't do an expansion pack fucking category, but will do a suck off Hollywood award. Love it. Thank you, Jeff. Arcane, Fallout, Knuckles, Like a Dragon, Yakuza, and Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft. Wow. I mean,
I'm gonna go with
it's gonna be
Fallout.
Fallout or Arcane.
Arcane, from the little bit of observation I've had of the internet, has been kind of divisive. So
Oh,
my
has it?
vote goes to Fallout. Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting.
I'm going with Arcane.
I'm
Ethan, you're the tiebreaker or the tie continuer.
I'm also going with Arcane. It's recency
Hell
bias,
yeah.
just solely on recency bias. That is. I mean, my personal vote, of course, is going to Knuckles. Never seen it, but you know, it's funny in it. I've not seen any of them.
Neither have I.
But Knuckles is
Damn,
funny,
they're
so
good.
the vote goes to Knuckles.
And
I
as soon as
believe
I
you,
find
but I
a
don't
movie
care.
theater, as soon as I find a movie theater near me, I will go and watch Sonic 3, featuring Keanu Reeves with a gun.
Right.
Just like John Wick.
Next one. Most anticipated game. Recognizing an announced game that has demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward. And let me just say, fuck you, Jeff. We got this bang on, dude. We fucking nailed this. Absolutely destroyed it.
Yeah,
We got all
we
5
know the
of them.
5 games
We know
announced
the
for
5
next
games that are
year.
coming out next year. We got your ass, dude. We win. Death Stranding 2, On the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, Grand Theft Auto 6, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and Monster Hunter Wilds. Nice GTA award. We'll see you next year. Yeah, GTA wins this one. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
GTA will win this award until it's out. And then if a Zelda is announced, then that Zelda will then win the award again, and then the cycle continues. And I'm not gonna lie to you, like, out of all these games, like, I'm looking forward to Death Stranding 2. But
Definitely.
as someone who is, you know, who enjoys Grand Theft Auto and hasn't played a Grand Theft Auto game in terms of story since GTA 5 and hasn't played a Rockstar game since fucking Red Dead 2 in 2018, I am kind of anticipating it a little bit. Not in the same way that the degenerates that are just going to only play GTA 6 for the rest of their lives are anticipating it. But I'm kind of excited to get a new GTA. It's been a fucking decade, dude. Like, it's been a decade. I know Metroid Prime fans are sitting there and going, "Is that all?" But you know, like,
Pathetic.
it's been a while, right? It's been a while. Anyway,
I
we
would
don't do the
like
rest of
to-
these. Look
I
at
would-
these. Content Creator of the Year. Ew, gross. We don't do
We're not
esports.
nominated, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
And we never will be, because we're no queso
It's
or
true.
any of the
I
others.
do love that content creator of the year is just like 4 dudes and a VTuber.
The VTuber is a VTuber that Kojima really likes, apparently, as well.
Oh,
So,
of course.
it's probably got the Kojima.
They've
Of
got
course
my
it's
vote,
fucking
then.
Kojima.
And someone was
What
like,
else is new?
someone was like, Kojima's gonna not show up at the Game Awards if she doesn't win anymore. Like, that's it. It's like, it's over. The relationship is dead when Queso wins it. Game of the Year time, ladies and gentlemen. Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth, Wukong. What are you doing here, dude? It said best experience, dude. Not good. Silly Black Myth,
This is
Wukong.
very much the Resident Evil shows up instead of Returnal syndrome of this year.
Elden Ring, Shadow of the Ear Tree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphori Fantasio. Mamma mia. Where do we begin, ladies and gentlemen? I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm sure Balatro is fantastic. I don't think Balatro wins Game of the Year because indie games very rarely do. And when it does,
Yeah.
it's usually in a year like 2021 where It Takes Two just kind of randomly got it and everyone cheered.
Still don't know how that happened, dude.
Deathloop was not a strong enough outlet, darling.
I also think, and here's the, I don't know about you guys, because Black Myth Wukong won Game of the Year at the Golden Joysticks. But if I also remember correctly, I don't think Elden Ring was Elden Ring nominated for that? I don't think it was.
There was like 20 games nominated there, though.
Was Shadow of the Erdtree nominated, though?
I don't know. Give me a sec.
Because
Anyway,
in my head, I think those two are going to split their votes a little bit to the point where Black Myth Wukong doesn't win.
Yeah, I think that Final Fantasy and Metaphor will probably split their votes as well.
So the question is, does Elden Ring win it?
I think Astro will win.
Really?
Yeah.
I would love that. I would rip my shirt off and scream with joy.
Also, really quick, Golden Joystick Award nominees for Ultimate Game of the Year: Animal Well, Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Black Ops 6, Dragon Age Veilguard,
Classic.
FF7 Rebirth,
Classic.
Helldivers 2, Metaphor ReFantazio, Satisfactory, whatever the fuck that is, Silent Hill 2, and Tekken 8.
So Elden Ring wasn't nominated. Right. I'm standing by the fact that I think Elden Ring and Black Myth split their vote to the point where Black Myth doesn't get the popular, doesn't. Well, here's the thing. I don't think Black Myth Wukong will win the critic vote. I think it will win the popular vote. I think whatever player's choice is this year, I think it will win player's choice, because I think that's just the way that category wins, is whatever game got an 80 seems to win. I like Harry Potter.
Gonna win the electoral vote.
Like that. Yeah, basically. So I just think that's what it will be. Which, you know, I'll say it, but I'll say it. I'll happily say it. I think Black Myth Wukong is. I can see where people are coming from. Whereas when I look at Hogwarts Legacy, I just see an open world game made by fucking Warner Brothers and go, "This is the hill we're dying on, guys." Like, I'd understand if it was Game of the Year, but it looks to me like you're just running around a fucking open world with a wand, doing the same fetch quest back and forward. I really have no fucking clue what way this goes. I really don't. Really hard. Is anyone are you confident, Hunter, in yours, where you're like, I'm locking that down?
As confident as I can be.
Where are you thinking? Where are you going with this one?
I'm leaning towards Astrobot. It was the highest reviewed game of the year.
It was
pretty much universally loved.
But it's tied with Elden
from
Ring.
Sony. Yeah, but Elden Ring isn't real.
How many reviewers are going to sit there? How many reviewers are going to sit there and go, I'm going to vote for Elden Ring because I'm stupid? No, I'm kidding, but because they're like, I will be very annoyed if, back to that topic, I'll be very annoyed if Elden Ring wins Game of the Year because it's already won Game of the Year.
Elden Ring wins, I'm not showing up for the episode.
That'll be good. That'll be good fun. But it'll really annoy me because it's already won Game of the Year.
Yeah.
If he is going to put, in fact,
it shouldn't have even been here, dude.
I think there should be I think there should be a rule, genuinely. If he's going to pull this bullshit that expansions can just be nominated for everything going forward, I think there should be a rule that if something wins Game of the Year, then it comes back with an expansion in a year or two, that it cannot be nominated for Game of the Year. I think there should be a rule where it's like, no, you don't get to do it again with the same fucking video game. Fair enough, you could go and make a sequel, but you just add to it? Nah, bro. Fucking stupid. Then they can just come back in 2026 and do it all over again, and we just keep repeating the cycle over and over again. It's crazy. Nintendo can do that with their 3D Zelda and just keep making a new fucking expansion every 2 years, and then there you go, you've just got Elden Ring and Zelda and just constantly win it for the rest of time. You know what I mean? Like, it's just dumb. It's just fucking stupid.
Dude, I don't think that Ballad of the Champions or whatever it was from Breath of the Wild was in any danger of winning any awards.
What do you mean? You got to go in the 5th dungeon. Ooh. You got a motorbike. That was pretty sick. Where's the motorbike gone? They should have brought the motorbike back. They were like, you can make your own motorbike. I'm like, it's not the same, dude.
Yeah.
It's not the same, though. Fuck. No, fuck
Yeah,
it.
that's about right.
I don't care. Even if my gut is saying the idiots may get this to go over. No, I'm voting for Astrobot.
That's the spirit.
Astrobot gets, and I'm also voting for it. This is not a confirmation that Astrobot is my favorite game of the year so far. That and Rebirth are still very much flipping over my mind. But I think Hunter is 100% right. I think that Metaphor and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will split their votes, so we just need to go for the strong leader. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know. To quote Wicked, dude, is what you need is you need a good enemy. You know what I mean? An Astrobot is a good enemy. It singles itself out. There's no cross vote. You know, we need a good enemy against Elden Ring. And look at his face. I think Astro, he's got the guts to do it, dude.
Yeah.
He's got it. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. There's all of our predictions for all of the categories, I guess. I guess the only thing we can do now is we can get out of this. We've been in this screen for forever. Make us big again. Crazy. Anyone got any wild predictions? That's what we usually end these episodes with. Any reveals? Has anyone got anything from the heavens of Jeff Keighley? What does Jeff Keighley have in store for us? How many war crimes? That's the first prediction we always do. How many war crimes will there be this year? Remember,
a lot of that's
year,
heavily dependent on whether or not Elden Ring wins Game of the Year again.
Yeah,
but
I will also like to throw it out there.
I think this whole show is a war crime.
7. Let's go with 7.
Just a reminder: if Elden Ring wins Game of the Year, that is 3 war crimes. By the way, that counts for 3. That is like this is like true atrocity.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 8 war crimes.
Yeah.
For those of you who are listening, they're just thinking that, yeah. For anyone that's listening, that's just thinking that Jeff Keighley's going to pull some actual something. In the past few years, we have called war crimes things where it's like actually like things that offend us on a personal level. Where it's like not like oh my god, it's the same advert has been playing 6 times, or the Schick Hydrobot Man comes out. Those kinds of things, not necessarily actual crimes.
I would take the Hydrobot over many of the things that have happened in the years since.
Bring back Whooper Watch, dude. That was a good one.
Bring back Whooper Watch.
That was great.
Yeah, show was hype.
As far as this isn't a bold prediction by any means.
Yeah.
I think it's more
Ethan,
of a...
how many war crimes were you saying?
8.
8? I'm gonna go with 10.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be a very egregious Game Awards this year. Just based on the pre-release.
Same. Same. Have you got one, Hunter?
All right, Hunter, what you got?
Anyway, what I was saying was this is less of a bold prediction and more of a it's probably just going to happen because it refuses to stop happening. There will be another Monster Hunter trailer.
True. I'll also say this, just because I've seen this going around on the internet in the past week or so, so I'll put this in another prediction of something that won't happen. There will not be a new Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer at the Game Awards. People keep saying that there will be, and I'm like, you really think Rockstar needs the Game Awards to put a GTA 6 trailer out? No. They do that on their own time, and it'll be the most viewed trailer of all time.
On a random Tuesday.
They'll do that whenever they want, and it'll be the most viewed video in history very quickly, because that's what happens with Rockstar. I've got one from the Sony side.
Oh,
I think you have a quite decent shot of Naughty Dog's new game being revealed. I think that Sony probably likes... I feel like Sony hasn't really revealed much this year in terms of next year, and Ghost of Yotei is obviously announced, but I think it's time. I think it's been 5 years nearly. I think it's time we at least get a teaser of what it is. Even if it's a short thing.
It'll be 7 by the time it comes out.
Probably, but I feel like, Neil Druckmann's been teasing that stuff is happening recently, that they're talking about it. They've announced that Troy Baker is in it in some way, shape, or form. I think, which is water is wet. Troy Baker is in a new Naughty Dog game. What a shocker. But I think it's about time. And I think that's what they would announce if a Sony thing showed up. I think that's what it would be, because they'd kind of want Sony, whenever they do show up at Game Awards, like Death Stranding 2 maybe. But I feel like Kojima decides that and not Sony. I think if Sony is going there with something, then it'll be the new Naughty Dog project. and a teaser. I don't mean
Yeah.
like release date. Here it is. I think just
Yeah, it'll be
I think it'll
splash
be
of a logo
60
and its
seconds
name.
something, and then like its name, and then Naughty Dog. Like I think it'll be one of those things where they don't even tell you it's Naughty Dog until afterwards.
It'd be funny if they didn't, and then you just play the game of, is it Naughty Dog or is it Sony Santa Monica?
Oh god, if it's sci-fi, then it's Sony Santa Monica for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
Also, things for the things that won't happen for 300. Switch 2 will not be revealed. Please get your copium out
no
of the
shot.
building.
They're going
no,
to. That's
no
going to
Switch
be a
2.
random Tuesday at 5 a.m. for people in my time zone because I understand that they're a Japanese company.
Yeah, in terms like
Hmm.
I know it
I could see a
sounds
new
yeah,
Doom trailer being there.
it sounds kind of
'Cause-
counterintuitive, but I think you've also got a strong chance of Indiana Jones having a trailer because it will have just come out and they announced the PS5 release date.
Oh yeah.
Because it will have literally have come out
Fun.
like 3 days prior. So I think that there's a strong likelihood that they'll show it and they'll be like out now on Game Pass, and then February 27th on PS5 or something like that.
Keeley does love himself a good "this game came out 3 days ago" trailer
Have
for
another
his
one,
things,
yeah,
doesn't he?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'll have plenty of Xbox has game, like the Game Pass ads. Maybe they show something for
Yeah.
Avowed and stuff like that. I think Nintendo shows nothing because they never show anything at these things.
Yeah.
They'll probably have one of those little highlight montage reels, like those 30 seconds ads where it's like, look at these kids playing Mario Party Jamboree on their couch, and then look at this nerd playing Xenoblade Chronicles X on the bus, like one of those things where it shows like 5 different games in the span of 30 seconds. I don't know. I think, you might see Judas, the new BioShock Ken Levine thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's supposed to be coming out next year, apparently. So that might be a thing that you'll see. I think for the most part, if there is anything at the Game Awards this year, I think there's a high likelihood that they are just new things that you aren't necessarily expecting. Like, I
Yeah, that
think
you can't really predict because you don't know what it is.
yeah, I think that I think there's a likelihood that you actually do get quite a few things here, not necessarily like massive kind of like mind melting moments, but I think you'll have quite a few decent ones just from the fact that next year is kind of light in terms of nothing has dates. So you might have trailers for like, I don't know. I can 100% see Kojima being the kind of person to be like, here's a trailer, and by the way, here's the release date, and it's in 10 months' time. See you in October, because that's the kind of thing, like like lock the date down and just move on. But
It'd be funny.
you've got a lot of stuff
You
that's just
think they show up with another Assassin's Creed trailer?
I don't know. Maybe. It's weird for an Assassin's Creed game to come out in February because it's never done that before.
Yeah.
I wonder how that actually pushes everything out. Is the interesting thing, because an Assassin's Creed is never not released in November. So rumor was
Yeah, I
originally that
suspect that
the remake of Black Flag was
whatever.
supposed to be next year. So has that been pushed to November 2026 just because they like bringing them out? Like, what does that do to Assassin's Creed now? Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, you'll get stuff like that, like Monster Hunter. You'll get Monster Hunter. You'll get Assassin's Creed. You'll probably get an Avowed trailer. Think we'll see Fable or Perfect Dark. Do you think Xbox will show like anything that people want to see, or do you think it'll just be the obvious?
I think it'd be cool.
What was Perfect Dark's showing this
E3
year? Just E3.
gameplay was a
Summer Game
level
Fest,
playthrough.
yeah.
It was
Some,
yeah.
yeah.
Everwild, remember that?
Oh yeah, good
No.
one.
The new Rare game that was announced like 5 years
new
ago.
rare game.
Nope.
Oh, maybe Double Fine. That's a
That'd
kind of
be
Game
cool.
Awards kind of thing. That feels like something where it's like, because wasn't that Game Awards, or was that a show? Was that an E3 thing when they announced Psychonauts 2? Was that a Game Awards thing? Or was that a? I don't remember if that was Game Awards or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember anymore.
God knows. I can't think of anything. I genuinely can't. They announced
Yeah,
that
I got
Rocksteady
like
announces that they are stopping working on Suicide Squad, and it's an announcement trailer. We're done. The game's worth
We've been
$2 now. We're done.
being outsold or being outpriced by Balan Wonderworld.
Dude, I'll happily admit that for like whatever it was, like £2.70, I bought it. I was like, yeah, fuck it. Like, you know, like there's at least enough of like I enjoyed a cutscene in that game. There you go. Like £2.70. What a deal, considering it was 70 10 months ago.
Yeah.
God. But yeah, and it's like there's nothing from WB. WB doesn't make games. What, Hogwarts Legacy 2? That's not gonna be a while. That's gonna be a while yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like Rayman. Imagine if we saw Rayman. That'd be sick.
They just disbanded the team.
Oh,
that makes
Spyro
that.
4. I forgot. Spyro 4. Spyro 4. It's happening. Lock it down, Kyle. Kyle, lock it down. Spyro 4. Lock it down. It's happening. I believe.
They're not doing Spyro 4. I could still, if Toys for Bob has something to say.
No,
see it
it's
showing
Spyro
here.
4. It is Spyro 4. Blasphemous Hunter. It is Spyro 4. And it's made by Toys for Bob. And it's coming out in 2026, probably. I can see that because Healy likes doing that kind of stuff, and I can see, like, you know, crashing, literally crashing through the ceiling.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how Toys for Bob will play this, really. Will they be the kinds of people to... You'd assume, because they're independent now, they'd want word of mouth, where they don't do an Activision where they announce it 6 months beforehand and then just drop it. You think they'd want to give it a bit more of a cycle.
Time to simmer.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? And yeah, Naughty Dog or Sony Santa Monica's not a bad shout. Now that you said that, I'm like, that's not a bad shout either. I feel like Sony's got to show something. Because we've been like... Sony's just like, what the fuck have they been doing for like the past 18 months? You know, if it wasn't for Astrobot and Helldivers, like what the fuck have they actually been doing?
Dude, they'd be toast. Yeah, because most of their output this year has been, you know,
remember
just
Concord?
third party. Yeah.
Where's its noms? Why is that not the Game Awards?
Probably because it's not around.
Best multiplayer
Weird.
game. Trust me, bro. Pretty good.
We played it.
Ongoing game. That'd be so funny. Like, genuinely. If Jeff Keighley ever put us on the panel for putting nominations for the Game Awards, I 100% would have put Concord for best ongoing game just as a fucking... Just so he'd giggle. Just so he'd giggle.
And then
I'd be DMing him on Twitter going, did you see my ongoing game, Nom? Did you see it?
Hey, Jeff.
Jeff, did it make the cut?
I did a funny thing.
Yeah, look, I just put Concord 5 times in all 5 slots. Does that work?
I put a cowboy emoji at the end of one of them.
Yeah. That's a different guy saying he also wants Concord on the list.
That was Hunter's pick.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Yeah,
maybe like Astrobot DLC. Maybe there's a little DLC thing. I don't know.
Yeah, they'll announce more new bots.
Well, there's obviously more
The
DLC
for
coming
that would
to
be
it because
cool.
there's copyrights of characters in the credits that aren't in the game yet. Like Rayman, for example.
Ooh.
And Assassin's Creed. So,
Ooh, all of it?
who can hope?
I'm not sure if the cycle is right for another fighting game DLC as far as like Street Fighter or Tekken right now, but if it is,
Street Fighter will probably show the trailer for Mai Shiranui just because they've already announced the Fighter Pass 2 and she's set to come out in winter this of 25. So we'll probably see a gameplay trailer for her. At least a good chance.
You know what? Fuck
Besides that,
man can dream. Square Enix, ladies and gentlemen. Kingdom Hearts 4, am I right? That'll definitely 100% show up. And then, just the icing on the cake, Nier 3 will also show up, dude. in Square Enix I trust. All the cope in that one.
No, yeah, Silk Song's getting shadow dropped.
Oh
too.
yeah, and that.
Oh.
That one now. That's Silk Song shadow dropped.
Well, if we're shooting Hail Marys right now, show me Soul Calibur 7.
Oh my god, that'd be
Oh,
delightful.
I thought you were going to say the FF9
Where is it,
remake.
Bandai?
Ugh.
I'm tired of playing 6 and it's shitty online.
I think it'd be really funny if Nintendo announced a game for Switch 2, but didn't say it was for Switch 2, just put the logo of the game and then just fucked off. Like, I think that'd be really... They also are in on the bit where they're just like, yeah, we'll just start, like, you know, a load of developers just be like, wink, wink, hush, hush. Next Nintendo system, and Nintendo's just like, oh, look, it's Mario. What's it for? Forget about that. Don't worry about that. Let's see you later.
Yeah.
Mario and Rabbids 3.
Rest in peace. Right, that's it. We're done. I can't think of anything else. Any other Hail Marys? I can't think of anything other than PlayStation releases a fucking video game.
You're getting Horizon Zero Dawn again, and you're gonna
thank
like
God.
it.
Dude, there is literally, like, it's been long enough now because it was like 2022, so it's been like nearly 3 years. There's a part of me that, you know, there's like the $10 upgrade for the PS5 version of Horizon. I'm like, you know, I haven't played original Horizon since 2017. There's a part of me that's like, I could probably play the original Horizon again and have a good time. But I also am like, I've got 6 games, like, I've got like 60 million brand new games that I've started and not finished. Maybe I should not be picking up Horizon again. Horizon MMO,
So-
yeah, that the Horizon Online
God,
game.
jeez. Yeah, another live service Sony game to come out and be smote within the year.
Hell yeah.
If Capcom is either interested in double dipping or doesn't show Monster Hunter for some reason, I could see maybe a Resident Evil trailer of some description.
Maybe. But they could also just save that for a random state of play in February like they usually do, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they gotta carry Sony.
Sony won't.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I can think of. Sega won't show anything. Well, they got nothing.
They released everything they had this year.
Sega shows Persona 6, I will also rip my shirt off again and scream. I need to buy a pack of them because we're going to get through them at this rate. But yeah.
Oh, man. Hit us with an in-depth Crazy Taxi trailer.
Jet Set Radio? I'd fuck with that.
Virtua Fighter?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, let's wrap it up. Links are on screen right now. You can go and follow us on Twitter or Blue Sky if you want to keep up to date with what we do outside of the podcast. Which, you know, more and more I recommend Blue Sky because the more I go on Twitter, the more I'm like, I really do need out of this fucker. But
it's
I keep
just
going
a
back.
Shit pool, dude.
It's so bad, dude. It's so bad. It's just whatever topic you can particularly find. It's just people fighting for no reason.
Yeah.
It's just a war zone. And I feel like maybe I just enjoy everything a little bit more if I didn't have people bitching in my ear from both sides about everything. It's a crazy world, guys. It's a crazy world. Anyway.
It's just so much quieter over on Blue Sky. Like, it's just nicer. It's so good.
Hell yeah.
Huge fan. I get to... Art doesn't... Like, fan art artists that I follow, their shit doesn't get buried by the algorithm. So it actually shows up in my feed. And I'm like, yes, this is good. You make good artwork. I'm glad I can see this.
Hell yeah. But yeah, next week, we have got some stuff. We've got some games. We got some stuff. Anton Blast is out on PC and PC only. Sorry, nerds.
Sorry, Hunter.
Pepe hands.
Hunter's like, oh no. Not the Switch. The poor Switch.
Big sad. They say they'll have it out by the end of the year. So,
yeah.
You know, whatever. If I have to wait a week, that's fine. It'll take me 2 days to play it, whatever period of time it comes out during.
But I'm buying it on Steam anyway, so I'll be playing it. So you'll have first impressions from me next week at least. because I'm going to buy it on Steam, and then I'll buy the physical on Switch anyway afterwards, because I'm like, I'll double dip on it. Unless it's garbage. Find out next week. If it's garbage, then I'll be going straight to Summit Sphere HQ and going, fucking what, mate? What happened?
How did you fumble this bag?
How did you fumble? That's how confident I am that the game's probably going to be pretty great. But yeah, we have that.
And then the lad is gonna in your face.
Yeah.
For
Well, I
his
can
response.
press the R. Yeah, just the button. You just hold the button down. You've got a scream button in Anton Blast. I don't know if it does anything or if you just scream at people, but you can do it. So yeah, Anton Blast. Maybe I'll have actually used my PS5 Pro and to have a chat about that. I've been playing Ace Attorney, so I can talk about that. Hunter will have played something, maybe more Metaphor. Maybe we'll finally get Hunter's Metaphor impressions next week.
Yeah.
And maybe Kyle.
And I'm here too.
Yeah, maybe Kyle will be here to talk to Hunter about Metaphor because I've played none of it. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I can talk to Kyle about Soul
And I'll just sit in the
Calibur
corner.
since that's all he's been playing.
Hey man, Soul Calibur Fridays. Pull up.
Oh,
Stop
yeah.
by anytime. There's always a spot in the room for you.
I do have it installed still. I was downstairs last night when I saw you were doing that. Otherwise,
But yeah,
I
next
harassed
week.
you.
Next week is basically our final game catch up of the year because of the rest of the year we've got a load of stuff. So it's like, yeah, final chance to talk about what we've been playing. So it'll be fun. But yeah, that's all next week. But until then, have an awesome rest of your week. Nearly. It was December now. Happy December. Happy holidays as we get into it. Let's see what happens, eh? Just 2 more weeks of sleep till Jeffmas, everybody. Thank you for listening and watching. We'll be back same time, same place next week for more. But until then, have an awesome week. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Doodle.